that condemnation?
Well, you know, thanks for the opportunity. Number one, Kenya is a very solid democracy.
Yes.
The 2010 Constitution has given Kenyans so many rights that are anchored in the Constitution. There's freedom of association, expression, assembly, and also there is the key pillar of the Kenyan Constitution, which is public participation. Now, on the matter that he was addressing is around the public-private partnerships, and you recall that Kenya is facing a fiscal crisis. There are many projects that the Kenya Kwanza administration would like to implement or execute, but they don't have sufficient resources. So they've now invited the private sector to come in the spirit of the public-private sector partnerships. And what happens with that situation is the private sector will come in with human resource as well as financial resources. But again, in the spirit of public participation and transparency, the Kenyans are given the opportunity to express themselves. They can present a petition before the High Court, and the High Court, they can take a position and probably put the project on hold. And I think that is a matter of Jomo Kenyatta International Airport. It's well known to everybody who has ever used the Jomo Kenyatta International Airport that JKIA is in a very horrible state of repair. When you compare Kenya with the rest of the neighbors, Rwanda is coming up with a very solid international airport. And Kenya, if you're not very careful, our neighbors will be having our lunch very soon. If you go to JKIA and there's a bit of rain, first of all, you're going to be rained on. If
As
you want
it
to
is
use
right now.
Yeah, if you want to use the bathroom facilities, you'll be in a state of shock. In fact, when you travel and you land back in Nairobi, say you've gone to South Africa, you're from Joburg, when you land in Nairobi, you start cursing the nation, you start cursing Kenya, because you've come from a very solid international airport, then you land here, first of all, the tarmac is looking funny, then you want to use the bathroom facilities, they're looking funny. If it's raining, you probably need a boat or a ship. And the government is trying to address that. But obviously, because of public participation, then people have said, wait a minute, this gentleman called Adani, can we get more information? However, on the flip side, it's incumbent on the administration to demonstrate to all Kenyans that all these transactions, when they're being executed, they've got the best interest of Kenyans at heart. Because we know for a long time, there are many transactions in Kenya which in fact do not serve the interest of Mora or Alima or Wanjiro. Most of them are vendor-driven or procurement-driven. I mean, even as yesterday or even this morning, governors are complaining about the medical equipment they're buying. So you're wondering, what these equipment, are they going to be bought based on needs assessment? Or maybe there's a vendor or a supplier somewhere who is pulling a deal. So at some stage as a nation, we may ask ourselves that while we allow public participation, while there's supposed to be access to information, to what extent are we going to allow it so that it does not frustrate a national and public interest? I think that would be the germane question. Because even on the matter you raised earlier on about IBC, part of the reason why the IBC selection committee has not started its work is because there are so many people who have been going to the High Court saying that, wait a minute, we are unhappy with the composition of the IBC selection committee. So there's a gentleman who represents an unparliamentary political party. He went to court. The matter was dispensed with. And then another person has crawled from the woodwork, is in court. Now, if Kenya's got a population about 51 million people, can you imagine, as soon as the High Court determines one matter, then another person comes in, and then another person comes in. So there's a very high probability that this issue of IBC will linger in the High Courts till the cows come home.
I'm laughing because you said when you land, you'll have to look for a boat or a ship. Yet you've come by air.
You've come by air.